Hey guys, it's Penta here. Welcome back to another Heroes of the Storm video. I've come up with 10 tips and tricks that if you learn thoroughly will help you mechanically in Hero League and help you easily climb the ranks if you're stuck. These tips range in difficulty, so we'll jump right into it and start with the most basic. So our first few tips focus on the mindset that you should always be in when playing Heroes of the Storm. So our first obvious tip is to never give up. People in Hero League make mistakes as they all have their own individual decisions which may clash sometimes. I've won games which totally don't look winnable because we managed to wipe their enemy team and push and end. Heroes also has the underdog mechanic, which gives you large amounts of experience based on the kill streak of the person you just killed. So if you kill someone that's 20-0, you'll get a crazy amount of experience which can put you back in the game by equaling out the levels. Our second tip is quite well known but definitely needs to be stressed more. Never fight when they are 10. Just picture a one-legged race. The one to the finish line wins first. When your opponent hits level 10, they grow another leg and they can use 2 legs to get to the finish line, while you still only have 1. Obviously your opponent can run quicker and will finish before, meaning that they'll most likely win their fights. But if you're the team with level 10 first, then you should push yourself and run faster with those 2 legs, and take advantage of it by contesting something and forcing them to fight you. The next tip is on soak. There are a lot of videos out there that explain soaking better than I can, so I won't go into detail that much. But since experience is the only resource you have in Heroes of the Storm, you need to try to get as much of it as possible. This means having at least one player in each lane prior to level 10 to be in range of that experience released when a minion dies. Our final tip and hardest tip relating to mindset is being wary of when you tap. The basics of it is that you want to save your healing fountain so that it's available during a long fought out objective, so that you don't have to hearth back to base to restore your health points because that takes too long. In order to achieve this, you need to be wary of when the objective will be and whether or not you can tap so that the cooldown will be finished by the time the objective is up. Remember that the healing fountain cooldown is 100 seconds, and if you don't think it'll be off cooldown by the time the objective is up, then you should save it and hearth back to base to restore your health, so that you're on time for the objective with your healing fountain still available. Alright, so next we'll move on to mechanical tips. My most valued tip is to learn the function on release if you haven't already. The way on release works is when you hold down the key, it shows you the range indicator for that ability, and when you release the key, it uses the ability. This means you don't have to click to fire for the ability. Another function similar to this is SmartCast, but SmartCast will fire the ability as soon as the key is pressed, meaning that you can't see the indicator, and if you accidentally press it, there's no going back. If you press the key with on release, you can right click to cancel the ability, or in some cases for abilities that don't show range, for example Diablo's Fire Stomp, which is his W, you can hit escape to cancel it that way. Shift clicking is a mechanic in StarCraft to queue commands so that they occur one after the other. This trick isn't essential to your play, but getting used to it is always nice because it speeds up your play and you can assign a set path to somewhere instead of constantly clicking to avoid autopathing. Here are some examples that I've come up with of shift clicking that you may be able to use in your games.
Let's get going.
The final mechanical tip that will help you in Heroes of the Storm is using the spacebar during team fights. Pressing and holding down the spacebar will center the screen to your character and will apply a blue beam showing where your character is. This prevents you from tunnel visioning, which is where you focus on one enemy character and don't realize what situation you put yourself in because the camera wasn't on you. You can also move your camera around while holding spacebar by moving your mouse to the edge, but it won't let you view further so that your character is out of the screen, which is really helpful. The final 3 tips I have for you are on mentality, and these skills are built up by playing the game a lot to gain experience of every known situation. This can also be known as game sense. The first tip is to try and minimize your losses. This means that if your ally's in trouble, you should be able to draw the line to decide if helping them will put your life in danger as well, which can result in a double kill for the enemy instead of just one. That being said, if you're a tank with a full HP bar, with abilities up that provide crowd control, then you could possibly save your teammate, and that is what you have to decide in your game. Always think of what your job is in team fights. Your role in a team fight will always vary depending on your role, the hero you're playing, the map, and the compositions in play. You need to be aware of what you have to achieve in the team fight to win it. This is why it's recommended to try to stick to one role or a few heroes so that you can become more familiar with that role or those heroes rather than being mediocre on all heroes, because in Hero League you want to play at your best. As a warrior main, I can tell you the basics to my role in a team fight, and that is so that my DPS can hit the targets I'm focusing, but at the same time the enemy DPS can't hit my DPS. So I'll show you an example of that. So here, as I come into the fight, I look towards a target and see if I can hit anyone. So I see Muradin separate from their team, and my DPS can hit Muradin while I'm blocking Kel'Thas's damage, so we decide to focus Muradin first, even though he's a tank. After that, all I do here is just zone, so that my support can capture the tribute without getting interrupted by any CC or damage by Kel'Thas. So my final tip is to pretend you're streaming to a large audience and talk out your thought process as you play. This lets you remind yourself of your role in teamfights, why you save your tap, why you're making certain decisions, and really helps to get your mind into the game to focus hard on winning. It also prevents you from tilting and raging at teammates, because you wouldn't do that if you had 10,000 people watching you. You could even try recording your gameplay in voice with a program and watching it over afterwards to see where you went wrong. Or if you don't know where you went wrong, you can ask others for help, or even send it to me and I'll help you. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what you want to see next from me in the comments below, and make sure you like, subscribe and share.